Welcome to These Sci-Fi Guys. What are we? We're a bunch of guys that get together and talk about science fiction movies. Uh, Today, we're going to be discussing The Matrix. That's right. The Matrix from 1999 with Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne. So let's go ahead and get things started. We got my buddies here, Chad and John. Why don't y'all say, hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Pretty good.
Good, good. All right. Well, Chad, you're the one that picked this movie, so let's go ahead and start with the questions that you want to ask us.
Okay, so beginning of the story, the beginning of the movie, you see they trying to contact. He's searching for something. So the thing is, they finally found the guy he's looking for, and he's get asked one question. So what would you have done if someone told? Hold on. So I'm backing up on this. So you get told on computer screen, hey, follow the white rabbit. So what would you've done if someone told you to follow the white rabbit?
Well, I'm not a computer hacker, and I'm sorry, there's so much junk on the internet nowadays that I don't think I would be following anything that popped up on my screen. I mean, I see enough Timu and all these other advertisements that just drive me nuts. Uh, I'm not sure I would follow that until he actually saw her tattoo.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe I will follow this. I mean, at least me personally, I think I would uh, probably go that route just because, all right, obviously, whoever was on my computer could see, with my camera or whatever, or could see what was going on with me, or what I was looking at, or what have you, and knew what was coming up next. John, you think anything like that, or are you still? John might be having some technical difficulties right now, so.
Yeah, I lost all semblance of sound, so forgive me on that one.
Chad, I just asked us, what would you have done if somebody told you to follow the white rabbit?
I mean, honestly, and especially seeing that pop up on a screen, my computer probably would have gotten a hard reset right then and there, and we'd call it a day. Especially nowadays with the way everything is and technology, I can't say I would have actually seeked that out any further. I probably would have just, all right, we're done, wiped everything clean, and just moved on.
Yeah, I could see something like that. Me personally, I was what I mentioned earlier is, they were able to see, obviously what was on my screen, but then when I turned around and opened the door and saw the tattoo, I would have been like, oh, okay, maybe they can see, maybe they can understand that. So anyway,
So the thing is, I wouldn't follow it. Like nowadays, no, I wouldn't follow it. But you got to think where it was coming from. It was guys outside of the computer program, what they was calling it. So it was more. If you looked at the screen, it was no GUI, no nothing on it. It was more command line. So yeah, it was. So if you follow the hacker trail, that's to me is that was more intriguing if they actually got in the computer and started typing like a command line, "Hey, follow right rabbit," and just net message them. But the thing is, I wouldn't follow until I saw this figure. Oh, it's a person they want me to follow, not the computer.
right, yeah, I mean, they were just
Hi.
looking at that. So anyway, yeah, Chad's other question that he wanted to ask us, because he's taking care of his little one, was if you had the choice, and I'll ask you, John, if you had the choice, given the red pill or the blue pill, what pill would you take?
The nope pill. No, given the context of the film and all of that, I probably would take the red pill just on a whim. I mean, no matter what, at that point, I'm in a position, I'm vulnerable. I might as well take the red pill and at least be supposedly awakened to what's going on. I think I'd rather know than not know in this case. But personality wise, conservatively, I would definitely be like, nah, blue pill. I just want to live my life the way it is. But
I don't know. The way I look at it is because I looked at both the pills, and to me the red one looked like a Dayquil pill, and the blue one looked like a Nyquil. So I'm like, okay, I can handle it if I take the red one. It's not going to affect me much of anything, you know. The blue one though is kind of like the Nyquil green pill, and it's like, okay, that might knock me out. So let's go with the red pill. Chad, how about you, buddy?
Not on the unknowing, I probably would have done the blues. I'm gonna stay here, but be adventurous and knowing, hey, I'm looking for something, and oh, they actually found me. They might know a little bit more. I would do the red pill. So with that said, he took the red pill. You saw that when he finally got in there, he was like out
Hey,
of his mind.
before you get too far on that though, we got to remember is he Neo was looking for Morpheus
Yeah,
for the longest time. He was searching and searching and searching for him. So if the person you're searching for says, "Hey, here you go, either this one or this one," and you've been searching for it, that's kind of why I went with the red. I was like, "Look, this is the guy I've been looking for however long," and then I find him, and then he's offering me the truth, and I want to know the truth.
Yeah, and I
You
think
know,
that's where context comes into play, at least in terms of the film. Yeah, if I saw this guy out, I'm going to trust the awakening side, but in real life, no way.
yeah, true. Go ahead, Chad. What were you saying? I'm sorry, I
so
jumped in there.
no, you good. Yeah, like he searched him out. So now he gets out. So now he's on the space station, not station, but the ship going under the old sewer system. Now he's freaking out. Would you do the same thing if like now you took the red pill? Now like you find out you can't go back in.
Yeah, I think that would be difficult to figure out one way or another. Knowing that your old life is gone. Well, who was it? Cipher was the one that was like, hey, I know this is fake, but this steak tastes great. I don't care anymore. The one that
Yeah,
betrayed all of them. You know, so and of course, obviously, he's the same. He was blinded by it because saying, hey, I'm going to do this, but at the same time, you can't go back in. I mean, once you know the truth, you can't go back in. So
It would
yeah,
definitely freak me out coming out and just suddenly being in a whole different place and all in a whole different world and having to adjust to that. I mean that'd be freaky overall.
well, yeah, and then feeling that thing on the back of his neck, and where it attached into his spine and everything. I mean,
And then the weird robot
that
that
would be
comes
cool.
up and like you don't know its intent. It's just kind of there.
Yeah,
That'd be difficult to get used to real quick.
and then you're flushed down the toilet. I mean, it's like, oh man. So yeah, definitely. I think definitely it would be extremely scary. Uh, everything you knew is basically was a lie. You know,
yeah. So yeah, I would have freaked out too. I mean, any hands down, you're gonna freak out because it's something new feeling to you, and you just waking up and you coming out of the egg and you find out it's almost like bunch of trees of the same stuff that you're in, and yeah, same. So yeah, I'll be freaking out.
hello, Jackson. He can't hear us though because we're all on
No,
headphones. So anyway, hey, one of the things that you mentioned that when you sent it to us um, is, do you think another actor could replace Nero? John, what do you think of that?
I mean, ultimately, I don't think the film has the same kind of premise as it does without kind of Keenan being there. But I think at the end of the day, especially in that time in this type of film, I think whoever would have been placed in that role would have kind of become popular and grown in popularity over time. just by the nature of the film. He definitely serves the role well, and he definitely lends to the character very well. But I think ultimately it could have been played by any numerous set of actors. It's just I think choosing Kino was kind of the better choice in the long run. And again, I think anybody could have, but he kind of made the role what it is.
Yeah, Keno made the role what it was, and I don't think nobody could actually replace him. But there's been a few. I mean, he could have been out there. Think about by the time you had Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, you had Harrison Ford, and so you could have done made Neo a little bit older, go with Harrison Ford, but I don't think he could have done like pulled the part off. But if you went with like Tom Cruise or somebody else then in the line of youngness of Keanu Reeves, they could have probably done it, but not sold it as Keanu Reeves did. And especially if you look, it was what the Flashpoint. He was going after bank robbers, and he was doing that, and I think he did a great job there. And I think that's what really got him attracted to the Matrix.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's funny when you mentioned Tom Cruise. There was some actors that were actually auditioned for the part before they gave it to Keanu Reeves. Uh, Nicolas Cage, Tom Cruise, and Leonardo DiCaprio all interviewed for it, and they actually offered the job to Will Smith. Uh, However, Will Smith turned it down and decided to star in Wild Wild West. Uh, and even Smith says afterwards, he's like, I didn't understand what the movie was about, so I wouldn't have been able to do a good job at it. But Wild Wild West was not one of Will Smith's better movies. So in the long run, I definitely think Keanu Reeves was the better part for this. Another thing, it's funny. I remember Keanu Reeves. The very first movie I ever saw him in was Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So of course I'm used to seeing him, acting just a goofball. And then the Matrix. I mean, I saw him in Speed, and then the Matrix came out, and it was like, oh, this guy's got a different. Uh, what's the word I'm looking for? He's his range of acting ability, I guess you could say, was much better. One of the things I've never seen any of their movies. My son tells me I have to. Is we need to see John Wick, the John Wick series, because apparently they're fantastic. Uh, so that's going to be on our list of ones to watch for sure. But I have
Oh, they're
never seen any of
phenomenal.
them. Okay,
Definitely gory, definitely wacky, but they are phenomenal.
so they're on our uh, list of ones to do. So what else you got for us, Chad?
So if you look at it now, we past few movies we talked about AI. So do you think that AI could do this in the near future? If so, how would that make you feel if they did it? Like produce humans like the Matrix was doing to power the computers.
If I didn't know about it, whatever. I
Yeah.
mean, if I didn't honestly, if I didn't know any difference, if I didn't take the two one of the two pills, if I didn't know any difference, what's to say it's wrong or out there, you know. I mean, if it's just like I'm living my life every day. But one of the things that Morpheus says, it's fake when you look in the mirror or you're looking out the window and you can kind of see that it's not real. It's just kind of a weird, uh, just has a weird look to it.
Yeah.
I mean, for me
So
personally, I don't think like modern AI is going to get there. I think I mean, if we're talking AI, I think we're talking centuries down the road before it could do anything like this. And I mean, it's definitely something a lot of sci-fi kind of dives into in terms of idea, and even some like non-classic forms of sci-fi, like anime, dive into as well. Thinking of gosh, I can't remember the name, but that idea of farming humans definitely comes around to play, but I don't think AI is anywhere close to doing that yet.
Yeah, I would say the same. I mean, it's not. It's definitely not there. I mean, we've seen a lot of, as Chad brought this up, the movies we've seen lately about, the artificial intelligence. Ready Player One and Tron, um, are just a couple of them that we've already talked about. Uh, the AI definitely is not there. I mean, you could even say Interstellar. I think that actually is probably the closest AI we're gonna see is in a piece of equipment that's self-aware and does what it needs to do. But as for your question, no, I don't think we're there yet. Agreed. And how would it make me feel again? I probably wouldn't care one way or another if I didn't know. But if I knew, I would have a problem with it because somebody had to have programmed it. You know, life doesn't just happen. We're all Christians on this podcast, so we're not into evolution and all that. We're into creationism. Uh, so you know, to me, I think a lot of those the AI parts would be definitely a little different than what we're used to. So
Yeah, yeah, I agree, and I don't see it anytime soon. It's funny how you see a lot of it. I mean, this is something I want to try to get to is the Terminator series. Just out there, just that side of it. See, machines turning against us. So I don't think it's out there. I agree with that. And another thing is what's cool and what's I felt was neat to me is when Neo finally figured out he's the one and convinced himself. So he figured out he was the one. So next question I'm going. I love this part when he jumped into Agent Smith. So what did you think of when he did that? When he figured out he was the one and he jumped into him?
um, Neo actually is an anagram for Neo because it's Neo. Actually, an anagram for Neo is one.
Yeah,
So I think he finally realized it at the end, especially after he got shot up and was able to come back and realized, dude, I'm the one. I can do this. You know, I loved Agent Smith though. I'm sorry, he was my favorite part. He was my favorite character in this whole thing. A lot of people love Trinity, a lot of people love Neo or Morpheus, but Agent Smith to me is just he was awesome.
yeah.
I can just watch movies from him because I mean he's a fantastic actor,
Hmm.
but two, yeah, you could tell he was totally shocked. Um, and then not to spoil anything, I don't know if John's seen any of the sequels, but and they brought him back, um, at least in one, you know, so obviously, it, he's not gone. So
No. See, what you think, John?
I mean, I think it definitely fulfills the character arc. I mean, it definitely allows Neo as a character to kind of finish his growth and evolution, at least in that first film. I think it wraps up well, but it's just kind of there and just part of the fun of the Matrix overall.
Yeah, I I agree with David. I loved Agent Smith. If both sides, I liked Neo, but I really liked Morpheus because I liked Lawrence Fishburne. I remember in Tuskegee Airmen how I'm going to do it. I'm going to be he was mine to it. So, but on the other side, I like Agent Smith. Just the way he carried himself. He knew he was going to do something. But so all the other agents didn't. I didn't care for. So you had Agent Smith cats out of bed with since he comes back. So I want to get to the sequels and just when he comes back and is just explain himself what how he came back. So out of that, what was one of y'all's favorite scenes out of this movie?
oh, for me by far is when they were going into the building, and then the metal detector goes off, and then it was just total mayhem of just shooting up everything that was, anything that was, they brought the bags, and then they're like, they're just full of M16s and Uzis and pistols and whatever, and just it just shoots everything. I mean, that to me was just fantastic.
I mean, for me, as usual, it kind of comes down to the technical aspect as well. Because if I remember correctly, some of the behind the scenes stuff I saw on the Matrix, the rig they came up with to do a lot of those slow mo shots where they synced up like a whole bunch of cameras. Again, if memory serves correct, it's just phenomenal in terms of photography and cinematography. Like being able to do that somewhat practically and otherwise, like combining both of those elements, especially the time the film was made, to me, any of those shots kind of take the cake. And of course, I mean, they're what we know the Matrix for, but the way they shaped those shots to get that to be so synonymous with the film is just amazing to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, I mean, too, like when he leans back, to miss the bullets, and then the whole camera just pans around, you know, that was just, it was never done then, back in '99, it wasn't done, and then of course, right after the movie came out, it blew up. Everyone was doing it, so
Of
yeah,
course, the classic Matrix shot. You got to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, you had a lot of movies trying to recreate it. But the thing is, my favorite scene was that going in that building just with Dave, because it's just that was the main focal point. They was going in to get Morpheus. That was their mission. But the thing is, they walked in there like they owned the place, and then when they went in the elevator, they didn't take the elevator. You know what? I'm getting in there and placing a bomb to cause more distraction. So I liked it, but then at the end, now I got just one more question I had to put out there. So that at the end, he's starting to see him fly around like Superman. Now, what y'all think about that?
Well, he was Superman. I mean, basically, if you're in this world and you can do whatever you want to do, why wouldn't you fly around and you know cause as much mayhem against the Matrix as you possibly could?
I mean, in
I
video
mean,
game terms, I mean, he modded the game basically, and I think
yeah,
that's fully well and involved. Like that's what he should do. If you got the
he
powers,
had
go for it.
he added a DLC to it. So,
There you go.
Yeah. So that's all I got for us.
well, I did do a couple of little things on here, just so you guys can figure this out. Well, the I can't pronounce their names. Wachowski brothers. They originally pitched to Warner Brothers. They wanted $80 million, and Warner Brothers said, "Nope, sorry. Here you get 10 million." And that whole opening scene with Trinity, they spent $10 million on just that scene, and then they got the rest of the money for the rest of the movie. It's pretty cool. Uh, Other than that, hey, yeah. Oh, hey, we got to do our little banner thing here at the bottom. To let you guys know that we're on Twitter at these sci-fi guys. You can email us at or these sci-fi guys at gmail.com. And you can see both Chad and I are on Twitter. He is at tech_sci-fi_guy, and I am at the David Wash. So we do appreciate you guys all listening to us and everything. But you know what? Let me see here. How do I do this? Oh, yeah. We'll put this up here. So we did The Matrix this week. And next week is the 4th of July. And in honor of the 4th of July, we absolutely have to do Independence Day.
Without a
So,
doubt.
without a doubt, next week will be one of the best monologue hype speeches I have ever heard from anyone in my life. Oh, wrong button. There it is. Yeah, when he did that whole to pump you up, this is our Independence Day. Oh, it was great. Just love it. So with that, we appreciate everyone coming out and watching us, and catch you next time.